Yo, Dennis here, back with another movie review. Y'all already know what the lick read. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. But first,
hey, you, right there. Y'all see, watch this video to the end, boy.
Alright, so today's movie review will be, well, y'all saw the title. Y'all know what this is about. Y'all know that I'm an avid wrestling fan. So, now I could say I'm a low-key pro wrestling connoisseur, historian, and I like to find out about the untold. Now, as you know, I'm a wrestling baby, and nor do I claim to know everything about wrestling, but I know a little something. And this right here sparked my attention because this is one of the first wrestling biopics, if not the first wrestling biopics that I ever seen that's legit in the theaters and everything like that. And with that being said, y'all read the title, y'all read the description, y'all already know what this is about. We are reviewing The Iron Claw, which came out December 22nd of this year. I knew about this movie this past November when I saw the first trailers and everything like that. Now, this is the story of the Von Erich family. Now, for all the wrestling heads out there, this is the biopic of the Von Erich family. Now, all of us know about the Von Erichs, of course. We all read the stories. We all know about the tragedies. We all know about the basics of what there is to know about the Von Erich family. Now, I'm not here to glorify the deaths and everything that we heard and we know that's been documented over the years. I'm just here to review the movie. With the respect of the family, I would not shed light on that or exploit that in any way, shape, or form. My condolences to the Von Erich family for, what has transpired and everything like that. We'll get to that in a minute. So, let's break down this movie, shall we? Now, for those of you shorties out there that's wrestling fans out there, may not know about the Von Erich family. Now, I'm an 80s baby, of course. I was born in 83. So, I knew who the Texas Tornado was. See, when I come to know about wrestling, obviously we grew up on WWE, formerly known as WWF. I'm very fond of Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. But before then, there was the WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, which was owned by Fritz Von Erich, the patriarch of the family. Now, with that being said, let's get into this movie. We all know about the five brothers. It was actually six, but y'all know the backstory behind Jack Jr., so we will not touch bases on that. That is the brother that a lot of us don't know. You might not have seen him in the movie, might have heard a few things about him in the movie. Also, the little brother Chris, which if y'all follow the Von Erich story and you're a wrestling fan, you should know this by now. This is like, if you want to compare the Von Erich family, you can compare them to like the Kennedys of wrestling, so to speak. The biggest thing in Texas, I'm talking about rock star lifestyle big back in the late 70s, early, all of the 80s. So they pretty much synonymous with the wrestling community, the wrestling world, all over the world. So with that being said, let's name these brothers off real quick. Y'all know who Kerry is, y'all know who Kevin is, y'all know who David is, but y'all also know who Chris is, and you know who Mike is. So with that being said, let's get off into the story. Now, the story takes place when opening credits. I will not give out the plot. Yeah, it's obvious, it's pretty obvious from the beginning, but you can't start the story off without talking about Pops, Fritz Von Erich. Now, if y'all know the backstory about his wrestling career, then we need not to get into that. But he decides that later on in his career, he had a great career, but he decided that he would put his all into his sons. And once he became owner and promoter of WCCW, he decided to put the jumbo cables on his sons because obviously, when you got three sons built like Greek gods and has the charisma, has the look and appeal for the girls, for all fans alike, they took the wrestling world by storm. And this is in the midst of all the competition in the 80s. We talking about, this is at the height of the Ric Flairs, the Harley Races, you name it. Y'all know who the usual suspects are. So this is in the height of the Ric Flair era. Then we talking NWA, WWF. We talking, this is during the territories, and we all know the stories about this. So I'm pretty much, we locked in, but let's stay on par with the movie. So let's talk about who played these iconic characters in this movie. We're gonna just name a few. But one thing I did notice, what I pointed out, MJF is not only playing the role of Lance Von Erich, which wasn't an actual real brother, which we all know already. He wasn't actually a Von Erich. Tragedy struck, and it was a bad idea to actually make him a Von Erich. But all the fans knew he wasn't actually a Von Erich at that time, and that was just one bad idea that didn't really go over. But MJF of AEW is also not only an actor. He played Lance Von Erich, but he's also executive producer in this movie. Now, The Iron Claw was directed and written by Sean Durkin. Now, I don't have to roll down, I don't have to go through all his credits, so we just gonna kind of keep it rolling. Let's get off into this movie. The basics of the movie is this is the true story of the Von Erich family who took pro wrestling in the 80s by storm. With that being said, we got a chance to get an inside look at the Von Erich family behind closed doors. So a lot of things were proven and disproved in this story. So with that being said, let's talk about the actors now. Jeremy Allen White had the task of playing Kerry Von Erich. Not only that, Zac Efron played the last member standing, the last family member, the last brother standing to this day, Kevin Von Erich. Now, he did a phenomenal job. Also, John Allen White, who played Kerry Von Erich, did a phenomenal job. I thought the looks were uncanny. I think they nailed it. They played it to a T. Harrison Dickinson played Kevin Von Erich. He did a phenomenal job as well. And during this time, I was pretty much a little bitty boy. I was pretty much, some parts I was not even thought of yet. And during that time, I was pretty much a kid, 3-4 years old. So obviously, I don't know nothing about the Von Erichs at 3 and 4 years old. But later on in life, I got a chance to know who the Von Erichs was. And I'm a big wrestling fan. I am a gigantic wrestling fan since I was a kid. And so when we get a chance to learn about the Untold, we grew up on the Shawn Michaels. We grew up on the Stone Cold Steve Austins. We grew up on a lot of Texas wrestlers that we come to know to this day. And before all of them, there was the Von Erich family. Nothing was bigger than them in Texas. Which brings me to the state of Georgia, whom had the Freebirds, and they had an iconic, if not the most iconic rivalry in terms of tag teams with the Freebirds and the Von Erich family. You can't speak about the Von Erich family without mentioning the Freebirds. You can't mention the Von Erichs without mentioning the greatest of all time, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. You can't mention the Von Erichs without mentioning Bruiser Brody. Not to say the least, the late, great Harley Race, obviously, who gave the first championship match when it wasn't the most popular thing to do to Kevin Von Erich, who actually got a chance to go at it with the late, great Harley Race. Who plays Pops in this? Holt McCallany. I might be saying his name wrong. Forgive me if I am. He took on the role of Pops, Fritz Von Erich. Harris Dickinson played the role of David. Oh, and here's another note of Aaron Dean Eisenberg played the role of the Nature Boy Ric Flair, which he did a pretty good job, I must say. As far as the looks being uncanny, I would say he was rather small. He was a little too small to play Ric Flair, in my opinion. Stanley Simons played Mike. Now, it took about $15.9 million to make this movie. For those of you that were wrestling fans before me, all the older wrestling fans, you definitely think this is a treat. Now, for me, discovering the Von Erich family, and I saw all the documentaries, The Dark Side of the Rings, and all the intel that you could possibly watch on the Von Erich family based off the people that lived it, the people that went through it, from promoters to former wrestlers and everybody that was in that era. I'm like a kid in a candy store, but this story is pretty interesting. It's a great biopic. You know I'm a biopic buff. I encourage everybody to go see it. Hopefully it's in every theater out here, because they've been player hating on all the biopics this year, and to end the year off with the Iron Claw, I would say is nothing less than phenomenal. This movie definitely should be in consideration for Emmys, Oscars, Academy Awards, you name it. I definitely thought the actors in this movie did a great job in depicting the characters. I didn't have to name everybody out. Even Chavo Guerrero Jr. played the Sheik in this, by the way. Shouts out to Chavo Guerrero and the Guerrero family. Another Texas family that's known in Texas. Texas, for some reason, breeds some of the best football players and the best wrestlers of all time. Matter of fact, two of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, just to name the biggest of the biggest that come out of Texas. Not to mention The Undertaker. Now, before all of them, like I said, was the Von Erich family. Now, and this is not headline news or anything like that, but what struck me was the story of Kerry Von Erich. Now, they didn't go all the way deep into the Kerry Von Erich story. I think he should have a story by himself. A lot of things that he was doing, and during his time, especially when he became World Heavyweight Champion after his brother David passed. One thing I thought was pretty cool was when Kerry Von Erich won the World Heavyweight title versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair in 1984 in place of his late brother David at the time. And David recently passed in Japan, and he was set to take on the Nature Boy Ric Flair in Japan, and unfortunately he met his untimely demise. I don't want to go too far with that, I encourage you to go ahead. It's as documentaries out there. You can even watch the movie, and they talk a little bit about it in the movie. So definitely a tragic thing, man, when you grow up with brothers that close and having a family that close and deeply rooted in faith. And in the midst of that, it's a lot of things going on. Now, Kerry had his demons, obviously, but when he won the heavyweight title, now I know this is all old to everybody, but looking at the movie, I got a chance to get somewhat of a behind the curtain look at it. Now, we all know that he was in a really bad motorcycle accident right after he won the title. In the movie, they talk about it, but you get different versions of the story about what actually happened. And in the movie, they really don't show it all the way, but what we do know is that he ended up ultimately losing his foot. I mean, literally wrestling the rest of his career with the amputated foot. And he kept it a secret. The family kept it a secret. And he continued to wrestle up until 1993. And we got a chance to see the rehabilitation. We got a chance to see what he was feeling at that time. And you suffer something like that, and such as horrendous as that, and still having the courage to go ahead and finish what you started. It's definitely inspirational, definitely motivational, and it's definitely a true testament to Kerry Von Erich will. I mean, he even became Intercontinental Champion as the Texas Tornado in WWF at the time, which is now WWE. Don't get me for that, but I gotta keep it real, and I gotta tell it how it's supposed to be told in context. Now, with that being said, a lot of people in the industry at the time didn't know that he was wrestling with an amputated foot, and he figured out a way to win the title. At the same time, only very few knew. Pretty much was kept a secret, safe, until we found out later on down the line. And then unfortunately, we knew what happened towards the end of 1993 when we found out the news about Kerry Von Erich, which I will not get into that once again. Later on down the line, they got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Shouts out to Vince McMahon. Shouts out to everybody that put that thing together. Shouts out to Michael P.S. Hayes. And definitely my love and prayers go out to the Von Erich family once again. I salute Kevin Von Erich for just being as strong as he is right now. Just being the last brother, surviving brother. And he has two sons, Marshall and Ross, that followed in the footsteps of wrestling like his uncles, like the grandfather, and like their father. Man, so the Von Erich family, the legacy continues. Kerry Von Erich had a daughter. She wrestled. She did her thing in TNA. Shouts out to her as well. They talk about the Von Erich curse. They talk about all these weird things. I really don't believe in curses or anything like that. It's just unfortunate that this thing happened, and it takes a lot of courage. I don't want to say luck. I know Kevin Von Erich used the word luck when it comes to just being the last surviving member of the Von Erich family. It's being the surviving member of the Von Erich brothers. He would like to use the word lucky. I would say blessed. Definitely God had his hand on him for sure. Without giving away the story and everything like that, I thought the Iron Claw, Get Vid, 5 stars. It's definitely a 5-star on the first watch. Like the Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb is giving it 4 stars across the board. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. It's definitely a must watch. I'm definitely gonna consider it, putting it in the rankings of all my favorite biopics of all time. We probably might do a top 5 biopics of all time, but that's gonna be hard for me, but I'm up for the challenge. So with that being said, in theaters right now, go see the Iron Claw. I guarantee you, for all wrestling fans, for all older wrestling fans, for all new wrestling fans, I suggest you go ahead and go check that out. You'll be doing yourself some justice if you go check that out. I saw the trailer. I was hooked off the trailer, so if I didn't know who the Von Erich family was, the trailer definitely got you. You know, I've seen a few wrestling movies before, but not quite like this. And they definitely did an outstanding job. Shouts out to MJF for bossing up, being the executive producer, and having a cameo role as Lance Von Erich. So with that said, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to say too much. I'm gonna give it another watch. I'm gonna give it another 2-3 watches, as a matter of fact, because I think the movie is that good. So with that being said, keep God first, stay suck free, and by all means get to the money. Peace and love, stay healthy, and I'm out this joint. But before I go, I just want to wish everybody a happy holidays. In case this doesn't come out on time, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays, a happy new year, and make sure you go to www.powercircle.life. Get yourself some Head Busters Knockout all-purpose seasoning, $10, free shipping and handling. The best seasoning blend on the market right now. I stand by that. It was sure to bless you, bringing the fun and the simplicity back into cooking. And for all you non-cookers out there, all college kids out there, this is definitely a walking cheat code for all you chefs out there. Cheat code, I stand by it. I got new blends coming 2024, so just be on the lookout for that. So just stay locked in. I appreciate everybody for watching. If you watched this video to the end, I appreciate you. Please tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and bring a friend. It definitely helps out the channel, definitely helps out the algorithm. And if you want to donate to the cause, there you go, check them out. Or if you want to buy a brother a coffee, hey man, check the down in the description. I mean, every little bit helps. I'm not monetized yet, but every donation, every contribution, even if you don't donate, like and subscribe, hit the notification button. It's free. It don't cost you anything, but it definitely helps out. I mean, leave a comment, leave something down there. You know what I mean? It helps. I can't stress it enough. I'm gonna go ahead and get up off of here. I'm gonna go ahead and tend back to all the behind the scenes things that I'm doing. Make sure y'all go look out for Normally. I think I said too much, so I'm finna get up off of here. Peace.